How do you capture 250 years of American history? One way is inside a time capsule. During this year's special 4th of July celebrations, a massive stainless steel capsule will be buried in Philadelphia, containing artifacts that tell the story of the United States of America. The plan is to dig it up on America's 500th anniversary in the year 2276. NBC's Emilie Ikeda has our Sunday Spotlight.
Designing, measuring, and welding. A team at the National Institute of Standards and Technology, one of the nation's oldest physical science labs, is building something to stand the test of time. A time capsule marking America's 250th birthday. Once completed, engineer Mike Barilla says the vessel, weighing a ton, will be buried 10 to 15 feet underground outside Independence Hall in Philadelphia on July 4th. The Institute leaning on its experience preserving the Bill of Rights, Constitution, and Declaration of Independence.
You know how to preserve really important things.
And I would say, in addition to really important things, really unique things.
So when you are burying something for hundreds of years, what are some of the challenges in that?
The number one killer of time capsules is water. And so every part of this time capsule design has taken water into consideration.
What do we see?
It's what is believed to have turned most of this time capsule, recently unearthed at West Point after 200 years, to silt.
The box didn't quite meet expectations.
Helping keep water, rodents, and tree roots out this time around will be a lot of layers. On top of the granite platform and pedestal is a bell jar and air bubble, protecting the capsule, holding document and artifact boxes. Project manager Tom Medema says what goes in those boxes also requires a meticulous process.
The Library of Congress needs to test the material to make sure that it's durable enough to not just survive itself, but not to negatively impact other things in the capsule.
Every state and U.S. territory will contribute items ranging from challenge coins to a piece of the Wright Flyer to hand-beaded art from Montana.
So they chose a native Crow artist to do this beadwork.
There will be a crystal from the New Year's Eve ball drop and letters from every living president, along with art from students across the country. All part of a message in a bottle for our great ×8 grandchildren to uncover.
I think a lot of people would describe today's times as divisive or strained. What do you hope the time capsule does for people today?
I think that it's an incredible example of how this country can come together in a moment that is celebratory for many, commemorative for many, and fraught for many, but still believe in those foundational ideals.
For Sunday Today, Emilie Ikeda, Gaithersburg, Maryland.
And not to be opened for another 250 years. Emilie, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.